Right now on WHAS11 News at noon, testimony so graphic a juror could barely watch. The Delphi murders trial, including new evidence. It's an ad you may have seen across Kentuckiana, but can you count on it as fact? We're verifying the alleged connection between a Southern Indiana lawmaker and Jamie Knoll. And a time capsule opened from 10 years ago in Jeffersonville. Can you guess what they found inside? WHAS 11 News at noon starts now. Inside the graphic testimony of the Delphi murders trial, one juror unable to watch the evidence photos in court Wednesday. It is our top story here at noon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brooke Hash. The jury was shown graphic scene and autopsy photos of the two young girls killed. Our sister station in Indianapolis reports one juror held his head in his hands, unable to look.
Well, today's testimony was both emotional, hearing about the autopsies of Abby Williams and Libby German, and it was also technical, hearing from the expert who took data off of Libby German's cell phone. We also heard from a witness who says she saw Bridge Guy the day of the murders, walking on the side of the road. Dr. Roland Kaur performed the autopsies that showed Abby had one large gaping wound on her neck. Libby had 3 large deep wounds on her neck. An Indianapolis State Police sergeant told the jury about the data he got off of Libby's cell phone, showing what she posted on Snapchat that day, a picture of the bridge, then a photo of Abby walking on the bridge. Sergeant Cecil testified at 2:13 Libby recorded a 43-second video of Abby walking on the bridge with someone behind her. Data from the phone also showed the phone moving and stopping at different times after that. Then at 2:39, Sergeant Cecil told the jury Libby's phone stopped moving completely. A text came into Libby's phone at 4:06 from Becky Patty, her grandmother, saying, quote, "You need to call me now." The day started with testimony from Delphi resident Sarah Carbaugh, who told the jury she saw Bridge Guy for 30 seconds, saying, quote, "I saw a man covered in mud and blood walking on the side of the road." On cross-examination, the defense showed Carbaugh transcripts from previous interviews with police, where she described the man she saw that day only as muddy, but did not mention any blood. The jury had several questions about the data taken from Libby German's phone. Some of them appeared visibly shaken. Earlier in the morning, when the doctor was discussing their injuries seen in the autopsies, testimony wrapped up just before 5 today, with Judge Francis Gall reminding jurors not to discuss what happened in court outside the courtroom. In Delphi, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Our Indianapolis team has a legal analyst in that courtroom as well. We'll keep you up to date on all testimony from today on WHAS11.com. Here locally, a woman died after she was struck by a car on East Broadway in Louisville this morning. LMPD said it happened shortly after 8 near the Barrett intersection, and the woman was not in a designated crosswalk when she was hit. We are told the driver of that car stopped and was cooperating with officers. A Southern Indiana teenager died in a rollover crash this morning in Harrison County. Police believe 19-year-old Dylan Lee Wilson from Georgetown was northbound on State Road 135 around 3:30 this morning when he lost control on a curve and struck a rock wall. Wilson died at the scene. Indiana State Police are investigating. LMPD says it believes a homicide at 18th and Ali in the Russell neighborhood was an isolated incident. The coroner says 34-year-old Mitchell Jackson Jr. was killed in a shooting Sunday. He was found dead in the road later that morning. In a rare statement on social media, LMPD said it is aware of all the rumors and speculation floating around online. Rumors suggesting similar incidents across our metro, they said, are false. A grieving father is asking for your help finding his son's killer, and he's offering $10,000 as a reward. Tim Berry's 15-year-old son was shot and killed in Old Louisville on October 16th, and he believes he was shot in an attempted robbery around 3:30 that afternoon. Tim said his son was like any teen boy who loved games and music and writing letters to his girlfriend. At first, he set a reward at $5,000, but a local business came in and doubled that. Witnesses on the scene told Berry there were 2 men in the neighborhood that day.
Just hope somebody comes forward. Somebody's got to know something. Yeah, somebody knows something. And there was 2 men. So, hey, you know, if I was one of those guys that didn't shoot him, I'd be thinking about collecting.
Berry is working with Crime Stoppers to bring in tips for Tim's case. Crime Stoppers can be reached to offer tips at the number there 502-582-2583. And anonymous tips can also be sent in to Louisville Metro Police at 574 LMPD. The prosecution has rested their case against former Detective Brett Hankison. They only called one witness today, Sergeant Brandon Hogan, who was with the SWAT team at the time of that shooting. The jury plans to hear more testimony today in the federal retrial. Now, Hankison is the former LMPD detective accused of violating Briana Taylor's civil rights the night she was killed in that police raid 4 years ago. The jury was taken to see her apartment yesterday. It marks the third time a jury has done this to better understand testimony and avoid confusion when deliberating a verdict later in the trial. Yesterday's trip was kept quiet to protect the jurors. For some legal perspective, we spoke to U of L law professor Sam Markison about the importance of that trip.
They can all now have in their mind's eye a sense of this door was here, the other apartment was there, and how they relate to each other. And then when they start talking, they have a common experience of having visited the site.
One of Taylor's neighbors at the time of the raid, Cody Etherton, was one of the witnesses who took the stand yesterday. He too testified in Hankison's 2 other trials. He described hearing a boom that night and feeling the vibration in his apartment as bullets flew through the walls. Federal prosecutors said they hope to wrap up their witnesses again by today. 12:05 on your Thursday, the cooler day of the week before we warm back up again, Sam.
Yeah, we're talking about 80s again, believe it or not, tomorrow, Brooke. Today, 68 degrees, which is going to be right at normal for this time of the year. And as we've gotten much of the midday hours rolling, another day dealing with crystal clear blue sky. It's been a very dry fall, and October still historically dry. 60 degrees in the city, Bowman Field 58 degrees. So again, temperatures still hovering well into the middle to upper 50s. Bedford still climbing into the upper 40s, so a little cooler air in Lawrence County, but for the most part, temperatures are staying at seasonable readings for this time of the year. And if you're looking to be planning the remainder of your Thursday, here's what you can expect. 68 right around 4 p.m. in Louisville. And keep in mind that sunset just before 7 p.m. So we're going to be hanging on to a couple of glimpses of maybe a couple of rays of sun by about 8 o'clock. But of course, our days getting shorter and shorter. So we're going to be picking up a stray shower chance tomorrow. That's going to be one of the main stories of our 7-day forecast. Also the weekend looking quiet and mild as we're still going to be expected to see temperatures plentiful in the 70s. Here's a quick snapshot for that Friday light shower activity. In a few minutes, I'll let you know who has the best chance of eking out some brief light rain showers on Futurecast in a few more minutes.
Sam. Candidates in Indiana's gubernatorial race will hit the debate stage tonight. Current Indiana Senator Republican Mike Braun is facing educator and former Republican superintendent turned Democrat Jennifer McCormick. They're looking to fill the seat currently held by Governor Eric Holcomb. That race is highly contested. No Democrat has held that governorship in Indiana in about 20 years since Joe Kernan, who was voted out of office in 2005. You can watch that debate live here on WHAS 11 Plus tonight at 7. You can also see it on our YouTube channel. And we are just 2 weeks away, under 2 weeks, I should say, from the November election, and a key figure in that presidential race stopped in Louisville. Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz met with Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg for a private fundraiser yesterday. They were also joined by Congressman Morgan McGarvey and Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. Logan Gotti, chair of the Louisville Democratic Party, says this is a major moment for Jefferson County Democrats, even though Kentucky only has 8 electoral votes to offer in a presidential contest and has rarely been considered a pivotal state in determining the outcome.
I think that the main point that he will get across to everyone there is it's important to not let off the gas. We have to go full speed ahead until Election Day. That is what is most important.
Walz spoke for about 20 minutes in front of donors who've pledged $2 million to the Harris Victory Fund. Law enforcement is on alert ahead of the election, and now an arrest for a series of shootings targeting a political office in Arizona. ABC's Andrew Dimbert explains.
Police outside Phoenix say a man arrested in connection with 3 shootings at the Democratic National Committee office in Tempe had more than 200 guns and 250,000 rounds of ammo. They say Jeffrey Michael Kelly may have been planning a mass casualty attack.
Justice does not have a political party. The Tempe Police Department will uphold the law and protect everyone.
Police say scopes, body armor, and silencers were also found, along with a machine gun in his car. The 60-year-old retired engineer is also accused of hanging political signs lined with razor blades.
Our investigators also observed Kelly posting anti-democratic signs in the area near his home in Ahwatukee, attaching clear plastic baggies containing a white powdery substance labeled biohazard.
A different kind of plot has reportedly been foiled in Georgia. The Secretary of State's office saying it stopped a cyber attack aimed at crashing the state's absentee voter website. Officials reporting a spike of 420,000 simultaneous attempts to access the site, telling our Atlanta station WSB it had the hallmarks of a foreign attack. Meanwhile, a more high-profile case that critics say could threaten election integrity. The Justice Department now warning Elon Musk that his daily $1 million giveaway to registered voters could violate election law. Musk's political action group handed out $1 million to random winners for 4 consecutive days, but as of last night had not announced the 5th winner. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
We'll have all the details on the early voting times and locations in our election guide. You can find that under the GMK tab on our homepage.